Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith, and welcome to my review of the new film, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I'm very excited to talk to you about this movie. Now, several years ago, we got a movie in Black Panther that was extremely polarizing. Polarizing because it was the first time we had a black character on the main screen in a superhero movie, in a Marvel superhero movie, in a lead role. It was groundbreaking, not only from a box office standpoint, not only from an awards and critics reception standpoint, but you had lots of people who normally don't go to the movies who were like, I'm going out to this. It became an event. Marvel films are already an event, but it was like a bigger event. I suspect we're going to see something similar with this film. The Asian community has somebody now in this character where they can sit back and say, hey, we're getting that representation as well. And kudos to Marvel. I think this is something that is long overdue. And I think that you're going to see a lot of different groups and different cultures that haven't been represented that will be now represented on the big screen, not just in Marvel films, but, throughout. And I think that's a wonderful thing. I love that diversity. And let's be honest with ourselves here. People like seeing a version of themselves on the big screen. I mean, I feel that way anytime Denzel's in a movie. I'm like, there's my boy, there's my twin. Is it me or is it Denzel? You never know. Anyways, speaking of Shang-Chi, this is a fantastic film. And of course, it's a Marvel movie. So I'm coming in at you from a spoiler-free perspective. I don't want to ruin this experience for anybody. Now, what I can tell you is that this is based on a comic book that I was not familiar with. Some of you diehards will be. And this movie is extremely well done. Directed by Destin Daniel Cretton. This guy's got 3 names. Normally I would say a serial killer, but he seems to be killing it on the big screen. He has done films like The Glass House. He did a very serious movie a few years ago called Just Mercy with Michael B. Jordan, which premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival. And now here he is doing a Marvel film. But again, you don't necessarily have to have a background in superhero movies to make it with Marvel. I mean, Chloe Zhao, who just won an Oscar for Nomadland, is going to be directing The Eternals coming up in November. Now, as far as this movie is concerned, what I can tell you is that we meet a character, Sean, and he seems to be having a pretty chill life when all of a sudden he is pulled back into a world that he thought he was done with. That's it, Keith? Yes, I said spoiler-free. What I will tell you is the cinematography in this movie is so on point. I was very captivated by how this movie was shot. I was very impressed with the performances of the supporting cast, of course, and of our lead as well, Simu Liu, who is, I'm going to claim him, Canadian actor. A lot of people will recognize him from Kim's Convenience, does a great job in this film, but also we've got Aquafina in this, so there's a comedic element to this film. You've got Michelle Yeoh in this movie, which makes sense because this movie was, for me, parts of this were very reminiscent to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. We've got some surprise cameos in this film. Listen, Marvel is so good at being able to tap in to their network. It's kind of like when Bruno Mars sometimes is laying down a track and he calls up, somebody says, hey, you want to be on this track? And they're like, yeah, sure. I think Marvel's the same way. It's like, hey, you know what? You're connected to the Marvel universe. You want to be in this new Shang-Chi movie? Yeah, absolutely. I've just been chilling during COVID. Give me something to do. So you're going to get some good Marvel cameos in this film. Of course, it's a Marvel film, so you want to make sure you're there for the mid-credit scene and the end credit scene. It does not disappoint. This movie seems to fit well into the whole puzzle that is the Marvel universe. Of course, it's setting up to something else and something bigger coming down the line, but this is very much an origin story of this character. I loved it. I thought this movie was a lot of fun. I always think to myself, okay, well, what's Marvel going to do next? Because they're branching off into so many different avenues. We've got the series that they have on Disney Plus. We've got the theatrical stuff. It blends in extremely well. And again, didn't know that I needed a Shang-Chi movie, but very glad that I got it. I think this movie's a lot of fun. I give this a B+. I definitely recommend checking it out. Go to the theater and see it. Bring your friends, socially distance, have a good time. This is a lot of fun. I am mildly fussed right now in a COVID world in terms of how this movie does from a box office perspective. I'm not on the Disney board, but what I will tell you is from an entertainment standpoint, I think you're going to love it. I think this is the type of movie that just solidifies that Marvel knows what they're doing and they continue to put out good movie after good movie after good movie. And that's why I went and got the t-shirt. I hope you liked it. I wore it just for this blog, by the way. Thank you so much for checking this out. Again, if you want to reach out to me, CFL_fan on Twitter, Facebook.com/WittyWhittier and WittyWhittier.com. I always appreciate the support and appreciate having conversations with you. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is definitely worth your time, and once you see it, let me know what you think. Thanks so much for checking this out, and until next time, I'll see you at the movies.